What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you come into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, I want to speak on some state comments, right, that Jason Whitlock made about Joy Taylor. Basically calling Joy Taylor a hypocrite, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play I'm going to play the audio. So, and then I'm going to react to the audio and just give you, my opinion on what I think about Joy Taylor and some of the things that Joy Taylor said. And so here we go with Joy Taylor.
Joy Taylor in
Mm,
2022 had
yes.
some interesting comments on Jeff
Wow.
Saturday.
Mm.
And I think these did not age very well, or these comments didn't age very well. Let's play the full clip. Here's Joy Taylor talking about Jeff Saturday getting the interim head coaching job with the Indianapolis Colts midway through the season.
Whether Jeff Saturday is successful or not does not diminish the fact that the way he got this job was ridiculous and embarrassing and disrespectful to everyone else in the organization. Everyone doesn't feel great about this hire in the organization. What it says to everyone around the NFL, by the way, not just in-house, is that your hard work doesn't matter. What you put in doesn't matter. You could show up every day. You could get here early. You could leave late. You could put in years, blood, sweat, and tears. And if I have a better relationship with this guy, he's going to get the job over you. Remember that. And believe me, that message is received when you do things like this. So it's not about if Jeff Saturday wins a game over the Raiders or not. It's about the message that you send about hard work and how it pays off in your organization. And good people that have options don't go to organizations like that because they want to know they have upward mobility. They want to know that their hard work is going to be rewarded and respected. And what the Colts did said, hard work doesn't matter, honey. Relationships do. Sorry about it. And everyone's doubling down on it now. And remember, since we're doing receipts, I'm going to keep those too. Because if you don't have to have requirements, if you don't have to have a resume to get a job, keep that same energy the next time a black coach is up for a job. I don't want to hear a word about what experience he has. What does he call in plays? Jeff Saturday sure wasn't calling no plays.
Right.
He made that very clear. I am delegating all responsibility except for cheers and motivational speeches to everyone on this staff. So keep that same energy about calling plays. And here's my favorite part about this while I'm ranting. Keeping receipts. The next time a woman's up for a job, I don't want to hear about the experience that she needs to have it.
Okay.
Because I already know she's excellent if she's getting the interview in the first place. So all you are loud and tweeting and celebrating this whole thing and celebrating the fact that you don't need certain kind of accomplishments or resume to get a job, keep that same energy, please.
What you just saw was a
Okay, before I listened to Jason Whitlock's opinion on what Joy said, right? I don't really disagree. I do remember when what's the guy, Jeff Saturday, was getting the job with the Colts, right? And so a lot of times when not just in the NFL but the NBA also, and you saw it with JJ Redick. JJ Redick, he got the job, and a lot of people thought that he just got that job because of his relationship with LeBron James. And so you have other guys in the league who thought that, that like other people who were more deserving should have got it. Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell was somebody Sam Cassell name comes up every time that a head coaching job come available in the NBA, right? And he's been an assistant coach for years, after playing for years in the NBA. So they can't use that excuse of not being experienced. But I think right here with Joy Taylor saying it, like people Jason Whitlock is more so saying it might be the right message, but maybe not the right messenger as far as these statements, are concerned. Because I don't think that, she was wrong. Like I said, when Jeff Saturday was up for that, he was up for that job and he got that job because of his relationship and his history with the Indianapolis Colts. A lot of people was upset. They bypassed the Rooney Rule. of at least interviewing a black coach before you went out and hire somebody, which I think the Rooney Rule is kind of like they just making a joke out of it. You as a black potential coach, you'll come in, you'll get interviewed, and all they had, we interviewed one, he wasn't qualified, so we're gonna go with with the white guy. They didn't even do that with the coach that time. And like I said, with the Lakers and JJ Redick, he just bypassed everybody. He got that job. So that's my first take. But I want to react to what Jason Whitlock and his co-hosts are going to say about this situation. And so here we go with Jason Whitlock.
It's a 2-minute rant on why I'm hesitant to do a show with a woman, because they're going to sit there and say that kind of stuff, and you cannot counter with the truth, the facts. You can't do it. You just have to sit there and nod your head like those guys.
Cook. Yeah.
Let Joy cook. Yes.
Yeah.
You have to sit there and do all that. And again, I just pretty hypocritical, Jason, particularly in hindsight. Your thoughts?
That poor white guy, he can't disagree with anyone on that set. I mean, gosh. Anyway, this, by the way, just a little side note. I went shopping this weekend to the local grocery store. I went to the condiment section. I saw Skippy now being served in cans. But anyway, so as I listened to that diatribe, okay, there's that meme that you always see on Twitter when someone says something, and there's that old cartoon thing. A few moments later. First of all, she is incredibly naive about the whole job. Nobody wanted that interim tag with in fact, nobody wants interim jobs. And we're talking about earlier, Jason, how black coaches are now 1-year rentals to satisfy the Rooney Rule or as a way out. Guess what? A lot of coaches don't want the stain of going 1-8 on a team that's a sinking ship. There's nobody on the Titanic that said after the iceberg, hey, I'll be the captain. I'll run the ship here. No, nobody. Everyone's looking to get off the boat.
So, all right. So that's Jason Whitlock's co-host, right? He make a good point. If a coach on any professional team, football or basketball, get fired, and then so that interim coach takes over, most likely it's going to be a bad team. So the interim coach is going to have a bad record, because they're taking over most likely a team that's not good. And so when you go to get an interview, that's the trick bag. They'll hold that record against you. They'll be like, well, you coached this team and y'all didn't do well. Y'all lost X amount of games. When coming in, you were set up to fail from the beginning. So I agree with that point right there. But let me see what Jason Whitlock is going to say. As far as but I don't really disagree with what Joy said though.
Looking to get the lifeboat, okay? But the other thing she said, or I'm just thinking, do you actually know anything about ball? Head coaches generally do not call plays. Most of them do not. There are very few. What they do in terms of leadership is delegation. A lot of them basically do we go for it on 4th down, or going for it on 2 minutes? Hey, hurry up tempo, or hey, I want a timeout. Not a lot of them actually call plays. And the whole thing about
let me just stop it right there. Okay, so that's kind of beside the point. Everybody know that most head coaches don't call plays. You have people like Andy Reid. Andy Reid is an offensive coach. And so Andy Reid know a lot about the offense. Andy Reid probably can help give his input on, on what they should be running far as like the offense, or what they should be doing in certain situations on offense, because he's an offensive minded coach. So if you got an offensive minded coach, he'll give his input on what they should be doing offensively. If you have a defensive minded coach, then the defensive coach will give his input more so on the defensive end. And here in Baltimore, John Harbaugh, he was a special teams coach. So his specialty was special teams. So he will probably he don't call plays or say what we should be doing, what the Ravens should be doing on special team, but that's where his experience stemmed from. So it's obvious that he's going to lend more of his input on that, in that part of that phase of the game. Whereas though with everybody else, you're going to delegate and you're going to have more trust that people can, that you'll have more trust in allowing people who you hired to do their job. So that's where that comes in at.
Irony, I thought that was strange that she brought up women out of that whole thing about don't question women. Again, a few moments later. Huh.
Let me add a different cut, different layer to what she doesn't understand about head coaching, particularly in football. Is the head coach actually coaches the assistant coaches?
Yeah.
That's the primary job. And so her argument is kind of like, hey, you always say that did the guy call plays as an offensive defensive coordinator, and that helps build his resume that he's qualified to be the head coach. And a lot of times what that means in reality is if you have called plays on the offensive defensive side of the ball, when you become a head coach, you can then go into the offensive coordinator's room and help him solve problems. And hey, what plays should we call in this situation, that situation, when we think they're going to give us this defensive scheme? And so I can remember years ago. Do you remember Gunther Cunningham and his years with
great special?
All right. That's kind of. I think Joy Taylor do understand that the head coach coaches the coaches. So I'm pretty sure that she understands like the structure, right, of how a football team is structured. Remember, Joy Taylor, her brother Jason Taylor played professional football, and so she grew up in a household where football was big. I'm sure he played Pop Warner, he played high school, he played college, and then he played professional. So she understands like the hierarchy, So just because she didn't mention the structure of a football team, I think that goes without saying. She didn't have to mention it. So I think it's kind of like nitpicking when it comes to that. But I want to hear the rest of what Jason Whitlock has to say about Joy Taylor and women, and specifically like women in sports. Like, like should they be taken seriously, or can they be taken seriously?
With the Kansas City Chiefs. No, Gunther was a defensive coordinator with the Chiefs.
Coordinator, you're right.
Under Marty Schottenheimer, defensive coordinator. And he used to talk about like how Marty could come in the room, and Gunther was a very good defensive coordinator during that stretch in Kansas City. Marty would come in the room and help him solve problems because Marty was a great defensive mind and came up on that defensive side of the ball. Andy Reid, he basically coordinates the whole offense, but if Matt Nagy or Eric Bieniemy or whoever was struggling implementing the offensive scheme during the week, Andy Reid can come in and help those guys get through that process. These great head coaches are great at coaching their coaches. And that's a unique skill. It's you can be as talented as, let's say you're in the broadcasting industry. Let's say you're me. I'm not a great coach of the other players. I can do my job, but I'm not the greatest coach of the other players. Yeah. And so not everybody's built to be the head coach. And that's what people don't understand. Some people are built to be coordinators, position coaches, but we want everybody to be the head coach.
Yeah, I mean, Jason, I was thinking about Frank Gans. He was the special teams coach, and I remember the Chiefs actually gave him the head coaching spot. I think it was a couple years before he got to Kansas City. It didn't work out. And I think Gunther actually got a shot, and that didn't work out. There's a great story. Yes. So when Bill Belichick was a young coordinator for the Giants under Bill Parcells, Parcells would peek his head into the office every week and go, all right, what do you geniuses have planned? And they'd go, and Bill would say, okay, try to make it work. But let's be honest. Anyone that coached under Bill Walsh was running his offense, the West Coast offense. Now, eventually over time, guys like Shanahan, the older one, Mike Shanahan, and then it was Mike Holmgren, they called plays. Now, there were times, though, when Bill Walsh would intervene and say, guys, we're going to do this. I am still the head coach. Going back to Joy Taylor, I remember a couple of years ago, Dan Campbell did this funny thing where he wore a motorcycle helmet. I think it was from charity at the press conference. She absolutely ripped this guy, basically said he was a clown. He wasn't serious. It's not funny. And I just wonder, and I get it, he was not the guy that he is now. But would you have said that if it was a minority or black coach? I have my doubts. I have my opinions. But Dan Campbell turned out to be more than just a guy who's funny or trying to be a clown.
And if you look at what's going on in Detroit, he appears to be a great coach of other coaches, seems to know how to set up an environment where Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson can do their best work. That's a unique skill.
Wait a minute. Did I just hear Jason Whitlock getting on the Motor City Dan Campbell bandwagon? You know what? I'm going to scoot over. Take a seat right here, buddy. I've been waiting for you for a couple years, but I'm still driving. I'm an agent. Put on your seatbelt. But congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Yeah. And so, and the other thing, just giving Dan Campbell his full credit, he has this mentality and approach that seems to make these guys believe we can overcome anything. Oh, half our defensive players are on injured reserve? No problem. Next man up. That's a tone and a mentality that's been set by the head coach. It's anyway, wanted to give Joy her love and just it's this is where I was saying, this is circle all the way back to what we said about the Amazon Prime show. Joy Taylor is not playing that host role. She's an opinionist just like everybody else. She's way out over her skis. We now understand how she got that job and how she got put out that far over her skis. Whereas a Carissa Thompson is trying to put these guys in position so that they can say interesting things, fun things. She's not in there trying to mix it up with the opinions and all that. She's trying to draw the best out of these guys. It's a very unique skill to be able to.
All right, so I listened to all of Jason Whitlock because I wanted, all right, so he says that she's a hypocrite, right? And so, like I said, I think it's more about the messenger than it is the message of what she said. Because Joy Taylor, she did in her little rant about Jeff Saturday, she did mention women, right? And how women get their, don't say anything if a woman gets her job, question her credentials and stuff like that, because when she received the job the way she received it. And so I guess that's why Jason Whitlock and his co-hosts are really referring to her as a hypocrite. Right. And I think in a way, I think she is. I think that does make her a hypocrite if she got the position through her relationship with an executive at the network, then I think that makes her a hypocrite. Right. But I don't think that you can say that she don't know about sports, right? And see, that's the problem, the way I would push back Jason Whitlock, because I've heard him say that, a lot of that women don't, that they don't really bring anything to the table, any in-depth conversations. And I talk to men sometimes who don't really know about what they're talking about. A lot of times you'll talk to a guy and males, and you'll find that they just basically repeating what they have heard, on networks, any of these sports shows, they just basically regurgitating that. But I think Joy Taylor is somebody who knows about sports because she grew up in that she grew up with her brothers and her father. Sports was like a big part of their life. Elle Duncan is another one. She always referred to her father and her brothers as far as and so a lot of women, just because they may not have played the sport, I think they bring a different perspective to the sport. I don't think that, you know, and I'm and see and when in saying this, I'm not really defending Joy Taylor. I'm just saying that women just bring a different perspective to you know, I see at a lot of those when you go to like Pop Warner football, or you go to like Little League, those Little League what is it, AAU games, you'll see like a lot of you'll see single mothers. And so, you know, I know like my ex-wife, she know a lot about basketball through watching my daughter play basketball, through taking her to you know, taking her to practices and taking her to games and traveling all over the country with her playing AAU basketball. So she, over the years, you know, she's learned a lot about basketball. Whereas though I respect her opinion, you know, if we watching a basketball game, we were watching a game together, or you know, we talking about the game. I respect her opinion. I respect her outlook on the different games and stuff like that. You know, everybody is not going to have Jason Whitlock's background. Everybody is not going to be someone who is who is a trained journalist. And even some of the journalists, Jason Whitlock included, like I don't always agree with his takes or his opinions on the sport. His opinions and his takes on sports are coming from his perspective. And so why can't everybody just have their own perspective and their own opinions? And then we can just judge people on their, you know, if their opinion or their perspective, we felt like, that you know, you're reaching on that. Or that's bullshit. You know, that you can get anybody. We don't everything that Stephen A. Smith say is not profound. Everything that Jason Whitlock says is not profound. Everything that Shannon Sharp says on his show is not profound. Sometimes they sound, you know, they sound like they don't know what they're talking about sometimes. And even as a professional, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to be misquoted, or you're going to say something wrong, and you're going to put your foot in your mouth. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. I do agree with the point that it kind of like when she got her job the way she got it, it kind of, you know, it comes off as hypocritical, you know. But what is she supposed to say? You know, that's the way I got my job through this. So I understand what Jeff Saturday did. You know, that wasn't gonna fly, you know. So yeah, that's my take on it. With that being said, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you think Joy Taylor is a hypocrite? Or do you think that, you know, she's entitled to, you know, to feel the way she feels? But either way, let me know what you think. With that being said, like and subscribe, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.